Okay, good morning. Good. Oh, I want everybody to start typing. Okay, I'm seeing somebody on the screen already. Okay, let's have everyone around. All right. Okay. Good morning, Oganla. How are you? Aisha. All right. Amida. Popola. Good morning. I hope we have more people in class. I want them to talk. Okay, good. Sharif. Morning. How are you? Okay, so we have oh, good. Rayan, good morning. Are you still going to write? Yes, very few things. You're going to write some things. Of course, you should have, if at least, a notepad to join important points, then to solve some simple questions. We're going to do classwork. Yes, but today is going to be a recap of everything we've been doing. Everything we've been doing. Oh, Salma, good morning. How are you? All right. Good to know you are there. Just have a notepad. I know most of you didn't go with your math notebook, but please make sure you are writing somewhere so that you can update your notebook when you get back to school. By God's grace, we will soon go back to school, so it will be easier for us to update our note. And then the classes will be easier because what we have learned now, we just do it as a revision. So it will be easy for us. Good morning, Amina. Fetia, good morning. Yes. So let me just start with what I have on the screen. I want to believe everybody is seeing the screen. If you are seeing the screen, let me know, please, so that I'll be very sure I'm sharing what I have on my laptop screen with you. Okay, good morning. Salma, are you seeing the screen, Salma? Oh, yes, good. I love that. So let's compare what we have on the screen now. We have like a cake, and then we have, let me say, a teddy bear from a particular height trying to drop to the other side of the seesaw. Let's call it a seesaw. Do you think anything will happen? Do you think there's going to be an imbalance, or the cake will retain its position? How soon will we be coming to school? Very soon, very soon. We are waiting for the waters to abate. Very soon, don't worry. Everybody is looking forward to go back to school. Don't worry, we'll go back to school. The message will be passed across whenever it is safe for us to go back to school. So there's no problem. Okay, good. As you can see the screen, let us move on. No, okay, somebody say it will fall the cake. All right. Let's make a brief judgment around this. Can everybody comment on this? What will happen if the teddy bear drops on the other side? Let me see what you are going to have. Okay, somebody said no, nothing will happen. Okay, there's going to be an imbalance. All right. Should we write? Yes, chat with me. I'm reading your chat already. Chat. Just chat. Let me see what you can type. All right, the cake will fly. Okay, just like the teddy bear flew. Maybe it was the cake that dropped that made the teddy bear to fly. Okay. All right, the cake will fly up into the sky. All right, Sheriff, I can see that. All right. All right, the cake will be wasted by the Rayan Yusuf. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you what will happen. Will the cake fly or not? I'm not saying you should be wasted or eaten or destroyed. We are not after that, right? Okay, so the cake will fall. All right. So now, why are you making this judgment? You are making this judgment based on estimation and approximation. You see, this is application of mathematics to be able to check value of things without actually counting. You are already making judgments, and that is why you have to have a very high level of cognition. all right? Because your cognitive ability will give you a sense of right judgment to every situation you encounter in life. So your expertise at being able to estimate and approximate will help you out in situations like this. And that is why we have to show this practical example of what approximation and estimation is all about. Okay, so let's move ahead. We're not going to stay too long on that. Now, so don't forget, you will recap. We are recapping now. We have done rounding off, all right? And then, of course, to the required degree of adequacy, we have been able to uh, talk about the rules of significant figure. And then, of course, we have been able to round up numbers to required significant figures. All right, so having had all that now, so it is easy for us to just do a kind of revision. This is more or less like revision of everything we've been doing about decimal places, rounding up, and all of that. So look at this. How many oranges are there in the picture? Without counting, can someone quickly type how many oranges do you think you can have? You don't need to count. Just look at it and make, okay, somebody said 76, 45. Oh, Abdul Latif. Okay, Rayan, 50. Good. All right, so you can see it and you can quickly say hundreds, okay, 80, 95, 107. You are looking like you are more specific about it. Have you seen the number of, have you counted the number of oranges? Somebody says 7,458. Interesting. Oganla. All right. So we can only approximate in this sense. Don't forget that the last class I told you that when you pick a spoon of rice, you can't really tell how many grains of rice you have on the spoon. All right. Such is the situation you have on the screen now. Okay. So most times you can see the way the oranges are, you cannot really tell the exact value unless you start counting one after the other. Okay, so but you can only make an estimate. Some might be lying on each other, you won't be able to know. All right, probably it is in a basket, you can't count exactly to the bottom of the basket. So these are the application. You can only make estimates, you can only approximate a value. All right, so now look at this question. I know this is more particular to everyone because you have your personal phone. How many SMSs do you usually send in a month? How many SMSs do you usually send in a month? Or let me say WhatsApp messages. How many WhatsApp messages do you usually send in a month? Hey, you don't know. All right. Daniel, can you hear me now? I want you to type. If you can hear me now, say you can't hear me. Adilowo Daniel, can you hear me now? That's why I'm trying to move closer to the computer microphone so that you can get me clearly. Daniel, can you hear me now? The notes, don't worry, you write the notes. Just calm down. When it is time for you to write, I'll tell you what to write. All right? Daniel, I want you to type if you can hear me now. Daniel said he was not hearing me. Okay. Oganla, where did you see this number? Oh, the number of SMSs you send in a month. Interesting. No. You are not supposed to write this. I will tell you what to write. Wow. You send so much SMSs. Are you a network? Interesting. Abdul Majid. This is much. 750,000. Daniel, okay, you can hear me now. All right, good. Uncountable. Interesting. So you send so much WhatsApp messages. Wow. So you can see everybody is guessing. You are trying to estimate. You cannot really tell the exact amount, but you are just saying around this, about this. When you use the word about, around, approximately. Okay, somebody said uncountable. Somebody said 100 and more. All right. Okay, let's move to this. Now, you remembered I told you this. Okay. Now let's drop that. I'm already on another page. You remember I told you that when the number is 5 and above, you round up. And when the number is 4 or less, you round down. Okay. All right. Stop that. Okay. I'm away from it, please. You can stop chatting for now. Concentrate on the screen. Concentrate on the screen. Stop chatting now. Stop. Concentrate on the screen. All right. Concentrate on the screen. concentrate on the screen. Okay, can I move on? All right. Don't write yet. You have written this before, or you have it, you know this before, so don't write. When it is time to write, I'll tell you. All right. So now let's move on. So when you have 5 or more, you round up. And when you have 4 or less, you round down. So this is good. All right. Now, we have done this before. Round up $10.46 to the nearest 10 cents. 10 cents. You know that 100 cents makes a dollar, right? So you have 46 cents. $10, 46 cents. Now you can see the example on the board. Should we write? Okay, good. Write this. Example 1 and 2 will be good for us to write. So if you have your notes or you have a notepad, please write. So you can write this one on the screen. Yes. Okay. So I'll wait for you to write this so that we can move on. This is like we are approximating to the nearest 10 cents. Don't forget, we did something like this previous class, rounding up to the nearest 10, nearest 100, nearest 1,000. So you can see the application in real life. So whereby you have something you want to, you go to a grocery store, you are buying something, and what you have is $10.46. Probably there's no change of kobo or cent, and then you want to approximate to the nearest 10 cents so that you can move on. So you have something like this. This application is in business, buying and selling. They can give you a VAT to a particular thing you are buying, and which will be in a fraction of dollars, and then you have to approximate to the nearest 10, or to the nearest dollar, which is nearest 10 or 100, as the case may be. Now, this nearest 10 cents that you are approximating to, in the real sense of it, it is actually to the nearest tenth, because it is not a whole number yet. It is a decimal. Tenth. It is in the 10th place value. It's in the 10th place value. And write 1 and 2. That's what I'm saying. Write example 1 and 2. Write example 1 and 2. At least you have something to practice at home. For most of you didn't go home with your textbook or notebook, so you need to write something to read. All right. And then for most of you that you don't have anything to write, please go on YouTube and watch this video later so that you can have something to write down. You need to write down some things. It's not every time you will be on YouTube, so that you can have your notepad with you to practice at home. Very important. Very important. All right, can I move on? Please stop chatting right now so that you can quickly move. If you are done, let me know you are done. If you are done writing, let me know. You can see the example 1. What we eventually did was to round up, because the number 6 is a number from 5 and above. Now, but in example 2, we cannot round up. We have to round down, because the number 3 is falling in a category of a number 4 and below. Okay, let me show you that from the previous screen. This is what I meant. 5 or more, you round up. 4 or less, you round down. Okay, so, and that is what happened in example 1 and 2 here. 5 or more, you round up. 4 or less, you round down. 5 or more, you round up. 4 or less, you round down. Okay, so example 1. All right. Can I move on? Okay, somebody's done, and I want to move on. Please stop distracting others. Stop distracting others so that you won't be blocked. You don't need to comment on people's chats. Face what you are doing. You don't need to comment on people's chats. You don't need to screenshot. You will have finished writing by now. Why are you looking for screenshots? Write down so that you can have something to work with. You learn how to screenshot later. It's not now you want to learn that. Concentrate on this class. All right. So I'm moving on. Okay, so you have this. We are not going to do this, okay? So let's talk about the significant figures. Let's talk about the significant figures. All right. We're talking about the significant figures. It's already done before. I'm just to recap this. Non-zero digits are always significant. Any zeros between two significant digits are significant. Okay. So I'm going to show you that in this. Okay. Now we want to concentrate on estimation now. And I want everybody to follow this story that I have here. I want everybody to follow this story. Very, very important. I will tell you how to get it on YouTube. Just hold on. Before the class end, I will tell you how to get it on YouTube. Before the class end, just pay attention to this one. All right. Okay, so somebody is telling you type NTIC Ogun GSS2 on YouTube, and then you see all the videos. So it's as easy as that. Now let us follow this story. This was what happened. Pictures of what happened in World War II in Singapore. This also happened on World War II in Singapore. Why are we concerned about this? Look at it. This is the story that we have in it. During World War II, food and medical supplies were dangerously low, partly because shipping was in total disarray. Protect yourself against emergencies. It is important to stock up groceries for wartime. Okay, so go to YouTube, type NTIC Ogun GSS2. That's all. NTIC Ogun GSS2. You see all the videos. All right. Now, let us concentrate on this. I want everybody to pick a pen and paper. You need to do something very important here. Now, you want to stock up all discounted items for the week. All right. All right. Let me do something here. Okay. Round off to the nearest dollar for each item. That's what you want to do. Round off to the nearest dollar for each item. Okay, so where you have $5.10, you know what it will be. All right. So you have all the discounted item. All right. So you have to estimate the total price of all the items without calculator in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. And I want to see who will quickly do that in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. So let me tell you what you need to do. You form a table. All right. You can just quickly get the actual price and the discounted price, then the approximate price, because you are estimating. You are approximating now to the nearest dollar. All right. Estimate the total price of all the items without calculator. Let me show you what you need to do. Total price of all. So you are buying all these items. You are storing them up for the case of emergency in a war time. All right. Somebody said $50. Okay, that's okay. Oganla, the first to finish. Somebody said $47. You have 1 minute left. All the items. Azan Kazim, I had $50 here. Estimate. Don't forget what we are doing is we are estimating. There are 3 instructions. You are going to buy all the items. You are going to round off to the nearest dollar for each of them. For each of them. You have to round off to the nearest dollar for each of them. That means you are getting a whole number. That's the implication. Somebody got 54.5. No, Rayan. You have to round off to the nearest dollar. So you need a whole number answer. Rayan, you need a whole number answer. Then after rounding up each of them, you now estimate the total price. The total price. Estimate the total price. Okay, so Rayan got $54, Amida $50, Owoyelu $50. Okay, you have to pick one. Halima, you said for 85 or what? 485 or 50. Okay, you wrote 48 or $50. Pick one, pick one. Okay, Rayan $55 again. Halima, pick one, pick one. There must be a definite answer. Aisha $50, Oganla $51. Okay, I'm not sure. You have to be sure. That's why I'm giving you time. We have 2 minutes is up. I'm going to give another 2 minutes. Maybe probably you can rework your answers. Don't use calculator. You can rework your answers. It is an estimate. It's easier for you to add whole numbers, so you won't have problem of decimal points. Salma said $30. Okay, I think we have to go and check the answer now. Who do we need to wait for? Fatima 33, Ridwan Arasi 57. Okay, I have just 10 items here, so it's easy for you to add 10 items together and get an answer. Okay, Salma Ibrahim $50. Okay, Oganla 51. Okay, so I'm moving on. I think I have to move on now. Okay, let's check this. Now, most of you didn't get it correct. You know why? Read one. You are not typing the right thing here. Read one. I told you to focus on the instructions. Most of you are not following the instructions. Round off to the nearest dollar for each item. You have to do it for each item. It is after rounding off to the nearest dollar that you can now add all those numbers you have rounded off. So you are not rounding off for each item, not for everything. Each item. Please pay attention to instruction anytime you are answering questions. Very important. You look at the instruction and do according to what you are instructed to do. Don't be too smart. I know some of you are smart, but don't just practice to be too smart. Follow instructions. It will save you a lot of stress. Okay, so what I have here, I told you that you should try and do a table for each of them. You'll see the actual price and you see the estimate. That means I round off to the nearest dollar. To the nearest dollar. The first one I have $5.10. So I have to round off to the nearest dollar, which is $5. And then the second one, $3.30. I have to round off to the nearest dollar, which is $3. Now for the green tea, $5.60. When you round off to the nearest dollar, what you're going to have is $6. $6. So you can see how it went all through to the last item. And then it is all this estimate that I will have to round off. Okay, so I'm adding them up, and after adding, what I have is $55. What I have is $55. Okay, so Daniel was right. Okay, I just explained. Each of the item has to be rounded off to the nearest dollars. Milo, the actual price is $5.10. When you round it up to the nearest dollar, you have $5. So you do that for each of the other items, like I'm showing you on the screen now. You have the answer on the screen already. So what I wanted you to do was what I'm showing you now. Okay, look at the instruction again. Round off to the nearest dollar for each item. Now estimate the total price of all the items without calculator in 2 minutes, which is this, adding up every item that you have estimated, and then you have the total down there. All right. Okay, now I want to show you this interesting story. Okay, so this is the correction. Somebody is asking correction. Okay, that's the correction. Yes. You just joined. Absalam, you're welcome. So for the ones you have missed earlier, you have to go to the YouTube section and watch it from the beginning. All right. Okay, quickly type your question, Fatima. Quickly type it. Is approximation, estimation, and I'm going to switch now to large and small number. Application of all that we've been learning for the past two classes, rounding up, rounding off, two decimal places, significant figure, everything has application, and it is the application we are looking at today. It is the application we are looking at today. So three decimal places, yes, that remains the answer. That's the same answer. 55376.884. Three decimal places means 3 digits after the decimal point. So the answer remains that. You don't need to touch it. That's the answer exactly. Most times they ask such questions to confuse you, but the answer is what you have just typed. So three decimal places means 3 digits after the decimal point. So that's your answer. Okay, so I want to move on from here. Yes, I've answered it. That's the answer. I've answered your question. To three decimal place. All right. Let me quickly tell you this very story, very funny one. A group of civil engineers were at a conference being held at Central Australia as part of conference entertainment. They were taking on a tour of the famous rock. This rock, announced the guide, is 550 million and 4 years. 50 million and 4 years. Now, one thing about science and engineering, Khadijat, I'm still talking loud. Everybody can hear me. Khadija, I'm still talking loud. You can see my head buried in the computer so that the microphone can pick my voice. Yeah, I'm still talking loud. All right? It's not convenient for me to bend my head like this, so that it is because the microphone should be able to pick my voice louder. All right. Oh, on and off. It must have been due to network then. It is network that is causing that on and off. Okay. All right, so let's move on. This is just like a story when you want to estimate. Okay, so the thing is, the guide actually joined the organization 4 years back, and as at the time he joined, he was told that the age of the rock was 50 million years. So when he was now telling others after 4 years, he said it was the age of the rock is 50 million and 4 years. So they were wondering, how come you know the exact number of years? And he was able to tell them, I joined this organization 4 years ago, and I was told it was 50 million years old. So now, after 4 years, of course, 4 years added to the age of the rock. All right, Amida, I'm listening. Omina, you got the gist. Yeah, that's it. Estimate is not the exact answer. Yes, it's just to estimate based on a given criteria to the nearest whole dollar. To the nearest whole dollar. Yes, when you are given approximation to, it's almost the same thing. They may say you should approximate to the nearest number, maybe to the nearest 10. Approximation and estimation can be used interchangeably, but they are going to give you the criteria, probably two decimal places, one significant figure. They will give you a criteria you need to follow. Yes. You must have a criteria you follow. When they say approximate, you have to ask to what degree. Is it to any significant figure, decimal places, nearest 10, nearest 100, which one? So that you know what you need to work with. They can be used interchangeably. Thank you. Moshood, thank you. I've seen you there. Okay. All right. So let us move to this. Okay, so I want to show you this quickly. All right. So like I said, yes, on a given criteria, Moshood, thank you for that. Okay. Don't forget, uh, okay, I want you to look at this now. When you are talking about large numbers, we have just about 10 minutes to do this, so I want everybody to concentrate. Now, can you leave the screenshotting alone and pay attention to this? Right? So when you talk about distance from the sun to the earth should be how far? Distance from the sun to the earth should be how far? Or how long should it be from the sun to the earth? Okay, look at this. This is 92 million miles. It's a very large number. Very large numbers. We are talking about large and small numbers now. Application of all that we've been learning about approximation, estimation, significant figures, decimal places, standard form. Everything combined together is coming to take a shape here. All right. Oh, your question is not answered, Amida. What's the question again? What's the question? Please retype. Probably it mixed up with some other charts. Retype now. Let me quickly focus on the screen. It is not a question. Let her type. Let Amida type her question. I want to follow up. Amida, type your question now. Amida, I'm waiting for you. Please retype the question. Okay, what is the difference between round off and round up? Round off is the general term for round up and round down. Round off contains two types. We have up and down. So it is round off that is used generally for both of them. All right. So round off means you can round it up or you can round it down. So both of them simply means round off. All right. So when they say round off to the nearest 10 and the number is from 5 and above, it means you will round it up. But when they say round off to the nearest 10 and number is from 4 and below, you round it down. So round up and round down are both called round off. So it now depends on the number that you are rounding. That is when you know what to do. It's either you round it up or you round it down. So that is it. I think I've answered the question now. All right. So this number now, what can we do with it? And then this man is celebrating his 70th birthday. Now the question is, how many seconds can we find in 70 years? If you are celebrating your 70th birthday, that should be how many seconds? We are talking about very large numbers. We are talking about very large numbers. Omena, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to comment on that. Okay, look at this. 70 years is this. 2,200,000,000 seconds. 2,200,000,000 seconds. That is 70 years altogether. And I want to believe somebody will be interested in knowing the number of seconds that is in your year. Probably you are 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, and you want to know how many seconds that will take. All you need to do is multiply the number of seconds by 60 to make 1 minute, then by 60 to make 1 hour, then by 24 to make a whole day, and then by 365 to make a whole year. Then you multiply it by the number of years it is that you have now. So good. All right. Now, why do we need all that? I'm going to show you. We have 3 situations I want us to consider. This is the third one. We talked about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs roamed the earth 228 million years ago. Okay, dinosaurs roamed the earth 228 million years ago. But now, look at this. We have done all this before, and that is 10 raised to power 2. We talk about 10 raised to power 3, and we talk about 10 raised to power 4 and 5. And then we have 10 raised to power 6. Now, let's see this. We want to find out something about what we have just mentioned. We want to talk about the scales of big numbers. All these ones are standard form that we have done before. All right, and that is why I'm running over the screen very fast. Why do we need to go through all this? Why do we need to go through all this? Somebody say, what about leap years? Don't forget that we are estimating. Just multiply by the number of days. On the approximately, a year is 365 days approximately. All right, so you don't need leap year unless you want to be specific, and then you want to calculate the number of leap years in your year. All right, so we talked about this. You can do this, and then you get this. Of course, all of you can do this. We've done this in class. Organla Fawaz, please be careful. It has been noted that you are disturbing. Now let's go back to this. We've been able to do this before in class. When you want to write a number that is this big in standard form, or what you call scientific notation, this is how you roll your decimal points. You roll your decimal point like this, and then you write it like this. The number of times you move your decimal point, you have this. And the number that you should have here should be between 1 and 10, like you had. All right. Now, all this, how do we apply it is what I'm after now, because we've done this before, so you won't have problem. Now, look at this. When you want to talk about 92 million miles, the distance in miles from the earth to the sun, this is where I want you to concentrate now. 92 million miles. I've written 92 million on the screen here, and then you can now see how we moved the decimal points. In order to write a very big number in a short form or in scientific form, this is what we do. Let me go back so that you understand. You can see, so I start from here. The 92 million miles, the distance from the earth to the sun. Now look at, after the whole number, I put my decimal points, and something is going to happen to this decimal point. I want to start moving it. From here, the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth move, fifth, sixth, and then seventh move. So you have this, all right? 9.2 times 10 raised to power 7. The number of times I move my decimal point to get to this place, 9.2 times. This is scientific notation, or what you call standard form. Standard form. All right. So now I want to represent my 92 million miles, which is the distance from Earth to the sun, in standard form or in scientific notation. I can use this without having to stress myself writing the number in large, like I have. So we can now begin to represent large number the same way. We can begin to represent large number the same way. We talked about 2,200,000,000 seconds in 70 years. And look at the way we are going to write it. We are going to write it like this: 2.2 times 10 raised to power 9. Don't forget, these are applications of what we have learned. And when you want to apply it to your everyday mathematics, you want to calculate the number of years in terms of seconds, and that's what you have now. So these are applications that I'm teaching you now, applications of what you have learned. You have learned decimal places, you've learned significant figures, you've learned standard form. Now applications are coming up. How you are going to apply it, this is what you have. So for the man who was celebrating his 70th birthday, he's celebrating the 2,200,000,000 seconds of its year, and that is what you have there, represented in standard form, 2.2 times 10 raised to power 9. Okay. Now, for the dinosaurs, we said the dinosaurs have spent 228 million years. They were on Earth 228 million years ago. How do we represent that? In standard form, and that is what you have here. Okay, we move this, we move, and then we represent it this way. Then we get 2.28 times 10 raised to power 8. 2.28 times 10 raised to power 8 million years. Okay, 2.28 times 10 raised to power 8 years old. That's the approximate age of dinosaurs since they lived. So you can use this one to practice yourself, just to recap on what you learned about standard form. What you have learned about standard form. When you have a number that is this big, you can simply represent it the other way around. Okay, so you can go on YouTube, watch this video, and copy all this. This is what you are going to practice on your own. I'm not going to. Okay, let me see if I can be fast with the solution. Then I move away because I want you to practice it. Now, let's talk about moving it backwards. What you have a number like this, how do you move it backwards? You have your 8.6, 10 raised to power 7, and then you have this. Then you can turn it back. You can see how we move. Then we get this, and then the last dot is not going to be useful because you have moved your decimal point 7 times. Let me roll it back so that you can understand. Your decimal point is moving 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the last 0, you cut it out. Okay, look at this, and then I move it away. So my final answer becomes what you have, 86 million. All right, 86 million. All right, I love that, Moshood. Thank you very much. And then, of course, this one, the same method is what it will follow. I'm going to move my decimal point 5 times. Let me go back so that we'll count slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just needed those 5. Then my decimal point comes down there. You can see my decimal point down there. Then the last zeros, what do I do to them? I don't need them anymore. And then they move away. So that's what I have. Okay. So based on that, I want you to work on this. You are changing it back to a whole number. By God's grace, this is where we are going to stop the class. Yes. You are going to move all this back to a whole number. So I want you to work on all this. I want you to work on all this. All right. Oganla is doing something. But you put a point. Okay. For the previous one. Oganla, which one are you typing? I want to know. Iman, you are moving the number from standard form back to a normal number. This 6 times 10 raised to power 5 now. I want to change it back to a number. This is what I'll have as the answer. But I'm not going to go beyond here. I want you to try the others on your own. Okay? So we are going to stop here. Everybody, good to know you are listening. See you next class. Thank you. Oh, God. Should I stop share? End the meeting? Okay, you're finished? Yeah. Okay.